Hey farming peeps, how we doing? Topster 12 here. Hey, and I sitting here baling this hay or baling the straw. It dawns on me. We need some things in this FS19 to keep us more intrigued, other than just maps and mods. We need some like game updates themselves, I think. And like I said, this is just solely my opinion. Everyone has it. So, right, wrong, indifferent, who cares? You may like it, you may hate it. You may not even care. But here it is. I just feel we need something more in game that keeps us intrigued. It makes the gameplay a little more at ease. Makes it a little more ease. Makes it more playable. Makes it easier a little bit actually. One thing, and one of the top things, is on multiplayer when we go in to join a farm and we don't have all the mods. We have to go in and look at the list and download said mods, which is fine when there's one or two. Ran into it the other night. Well, I had to download numerous mods, and it's just easier to go download everything instead of go through the list, which in turn still took time away from the gameplay and away from what I was doing because I had to download the mod to get ready. And it's no one's fault. It's just everything has to match, and I understand that. On that same token, with today's technology, why couldn't there be something of the sorts of like a cloud service that holds all the mods, and instead of us having to download those mods, we use those mods from the cloud service, which is the same exact thing that we have. It's just not using our system resources to do so. I mean, I know it's possible, and it needs to be done, I think. That, and if you don't want to do the cloud service, a simple button on the top of the mod list that says download all. And you download all the mods that the host has. That makes it simple instead of going through each individual mod back and forth and having to look at the list or write it down and trying to find the mod where it's at, because we all know that they're not placed sometimes where they should be. So why don't we just have a single little click of a button that says download mods? Boom. And we download said mods and we join the multiplayer game and we're done. I think that'd be more beneficial than having to jump back and forth and spend 2 hours trying to download mods and trying to find them. That's just my opinion. And with today's technology, I don't see why it's not a problem and why it's not feasible to do that. At least the cloud storage, maybe, but at least a button on there, a click of a button, so we can say, hey, I'll just download them all and be done with it. And if you don't have the room on your system, it'll tell you don't have the room. So you move some things around, you delete some things, and you make room. It's simple. We do that now, but we have to do it each individual mod, and that's what's time consuming, and it's aggravating to say the least, especially when you have to go find each individual mod and find out where it's at and click on it and download it, when you can just click one button and it does a blanket download. That's what I think. Another thing, I had a problem, and I'm not going to guarantee which this is, either Giants or PlayStation. I'm not exactly sure. It's one or maybe both. The NAT type 3 setting for your internet. Every internet has a NAT type to it. It's a NAT type 1, 2, 3. 1 is like 0, 1, 2, 3, something like that. But it's like the least number is no security, and number 3 is like Fort Knox. Well, currently I have a NAT type 3. and I call my ISP to have it changed, and they say, oh, well, we can't do that. You need to call the manufacturer of your modem. I call the manufacturer of the modem, and they say, oh, well, we can't do that. You need to call your ISP. So now, I'm in between a pissing contest because, oh, I can't do that. You need to call them. And I can't do that. You need to call them. Well, I'm changing internet services because if they can't do it, I don't need them. And it should be the NAT type should be adjustable with your internet service or your router. It should be. Mine is locked, it's grayed out, and you cannot get into it. I've tried multiple ways. I've even tried port forwarding, and it's not working. However, if it is a Giants problem that's requiring the NAT type 3 setting, why? My gosh, change that, because you're limiting players that can't play. I mean, you're knocking people out of playing. If it's Sony that's doing it, Giants, I would throw a fit, because they are knocking people out of playing and having the full multiplayer and gaming experience from Farming Simulator 19. So with that being said, some of your IT people need to figure something out and change them things up. I mean, at least make it a NAT Type 2, or have Sony make it a NAT Type 2, because I realize it's not actually a connection to y'all, it's like a peer-to-peer, but it goes through Sony and through you, then back to the PlayStations of the people that's connecting. That's the way I understand it anyway. But regardless, it doesn't matter how it connects up or how it works, it's still a NAT Type 3 and it's still blocked. I can actually set my mobile phone as a hotspot and get a NAT Type 2 connection and play multiplayer as long as it allows me to stay connected. And my home ISP will not. I have a NAT Type 3 connection with them. And here's the kicker. It's the same company and the same internet, because I have 4G internet here at the house. It's wireless. I just plug it into the electric and that's it. There's no cords, no cables, no nothing. It's just an electric plug-in, and you plug it in and the modem works. It works off of a cell tower, which is the same cell tower as I get from my mobile phone runs off of. I'm 200 yards away from it. Same cell tower, same service, same company, different NAT types. I've not understood that to this day. Anyway, next thing, why don't you give us progress on our trophies? I would like to see how far along I am. You know, I have to cultivate 100 hectares or 100 acres or whatever else. Why don't you show me I'm at 98 of 100? I have to breed the 100 cows or pigs or sheep or whatever it is, get those bred and raised. Why don't you give me, oh, you're at 57 of 100 or 57 of 200 or something like that. Give me a little sliding scale of number to go by to see how much more I've got to go. I mean, to me, that's just kind of a simple task right there. That's just broadening of the gameplay. I mean, it's explaining the gameplay, it's broadening it, and it's showing you where you're at. I mean, that would be amazing, I think. That'd be like kudos to Giants if you'd do that. Now, I don't see it being all that difficult. It may be, but I'm not 100% sure on that. The next thing I would like to actually see is, I don't know how many people has done it, but when you have the forks and the bucket and the stuff on the front of the tractor here, and you're scooting down through there and you just run head on into a tree or a post or a lamp post or a sign or something, and you get stuck. And you have to detach your bell forks or your pallet forks or your bucket from the front back up, because you have now, the post went through the bucket, and you're now stuck on the post because the bucket and the loading arms is on two different sides of it. You're stuck. Come on. Fix that. It's a glitch in the game, and it's so aggravating. I get stuck all the time, and of course if I could drive any better I probably wouldn't get stuck, but that's beside the point. I was like, oh my gosh, that's kind of just a little pet peeve, I guess, more than anything. Just I do it all the time. I can't drive. I can't help it. Another thing I just think it'd be neat is when we have to, if we actually have to reset. I mean, because I hate resetting. I'll sit there and work at it for 10, 15 minutes and 20 minutes or more so I don't have to reset it. But give us an option to reset, either reset it at the shop or reset at the farm. And I know most people do the farm manager and you set up your own farm somewhere else, but just have the set location for the farm. I mean, that's fine with me. My farm may be across the field where I set it up at. It may not be the game play farm where you'd set it up at, but give me the option to set it up either at the farm or at the shop, or at the cow pen, the cow pasture. Set it up at the BGA. Set it up at one of the sell points. I mean, just kind of throughout the map, and I can choose where I want to reset it to, instead of having to always reset it back to the shop. I mean, it just kind of, if I'm across the map and I gotta reset it, and I have to reset it to the shop, now I have to go get it from the shop and go back across, all the way across the map. When if I could click a button or an option in the menu and reset it to a designated location of my choice. And it could be, it don't have to be a static location like that. It can be, you can set it each individual time you use it. Instead of just go in the menu, set your location where you want it at, then go back to the item and hit reset, and it goes to that location. That would be perfect. In my way of thinking, it would be. That's just me thinking. I'm not going to guarantee it's correct, but it would be awesome. I do think so. Also, like the bales right here, this came to me earlier while I was actually baling. We're limited in the amount of bales that we can have. Kind of understandable. Don't like it, but I can kind of understand it. With that being said, why don't you give us a bale counter? I have no idea how many straw bales that I have on the ground right here. I know there's a bunch, but I have no idea how many. And the game knows how many we have because it limits us as to how many we can have. So you can't tell me you don't know that I have 153 here or 78 or whatever, because you limit me as how many I can have. And when I hit that threshold, I'm done. So give us a counter. Show us how many grass bales we have. Show us how many straw bales we have. Show us how many hay bales and silage bales that we have. You don't give us an individual. I would love individual count, but I would settle for a gross number 2, all of them combined. That would be amazing. I would prefer individuals, but all inclusive, I'll take that just as well, because that way we'll know exactly how many bales we have on the ground, and we can go, oh crap, I can only bale 2 more, or I need 15 silage bales. I've got to sell 15 or 20 straw. I got to get rid of those. Something of the sort. To me, that'd just be more beneficial, knowing the exact amount that we have. I think that would be awesome. And I've been reading up the PS5, which will be coming out next year, and it also is a cross-platform play. I've been reading up and doing some snooping. So all the games that we have now from PS4 will play, tentatively, from what I've been hearing, will play on the PS5. And with that being said, Giants, you could do an update to make, this is a simulator, so let's kind of make it more like a simulator. When I order something from the shop, give me an option to have it delivered to the farm. I'll pay more for that. A delivery option of $1,500 or $2,000 or $500, depending on what the item is or how big it is, or how many items I order. It's fine, but give me the option to have it delivered to my farm. Same way as like the location for the for the spawning of the when you reset. So give me an option to have it delivered instead of having to go after it, because in today's world that's very possible. You can have stuff delivered when you order a tractor and you don't even have to go after it. I think it'd be awesome just to have that option. I think that would be neat, because starting out, if you start out in a new farmer, you may not have the hundreds of thousands of dollars or $20,000 till you even lease the equipment to go get your tractor to deliver it or drive it or something like that. I mean, you can always drive, it's a game, but for the realism of it, have it delivered. You could be sitting on your farm watching it roll in on the back of a truck and deliver. I think that'd just be cool. And it may not be to the fact that a truck rolls in and delivers it. You could have it just spawn at that location. That would be amazing too. Just a delivery option for it to spawn there at the farm. I think that would be cool. So, I'm probably going to hit my bell limit anytime here. Well, I appreciate everyone stopping by. That's just kind of the random thoughts that I had for it. Leave your comments and suggestions. Tell me what you think down below. Let me know if you think any of that would be in a good gameplay, a good move, or hey, if you got something to add to it down below. I'd love to hear it, because I'm up for always to changing ideas. Anything to make the gameplay better, it's going to be awesome. Some changes aren't better, but it's still for the better, if that makes sense. So, I'm glad everyone stopped by. Thumbs up would be great. And if you didn't like it, thumbs down. It's your choice. But at least tell me why in the comments down below. No hard feelings. Then give me your comments and suggestions of what you think needs to happen with the game. Some add-ons, whether it be minor or large. A huge DLC or a minor DLC. Updates or not. Let me know. I appreciate it. And until next time, y'all take care.